Djoser, the name may not be immediately familiar to everyone, but he stands as one of the most significant figures in ancient Egyptian history. Picture this: a time around 2670 BCE, a landscape dominated by vast stretches of desert, and in the middle of it, a great city arises: Memphis, the capital of Egypt during the Third Dynasty. In the heart of this city, a king, Djoser, begins to envision something extraordinary. A project that would change the course of architecture forever, not just in Egypt but across the world. Now, to fully appreciate the magnitude of Djoser's contributions, let's step back for a moment and dive into the world he inhabited. The Egypt of Djoser's time was still in its formative stages, just a few centuries after the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. A period known as the Early Dynastic Period had seen the rise of the first Egyptian kings and the establishment of the mighty city of Memphis. By the time Djoser ascended to the throne, Egypt had already tasted prosperity, but it was a land still ripe for innovation, waiting for someone bold enough to break away from tradition and chart a new course. Enter Djoser, the second king of the Third Dynasty. Djoser was a man of vision, a ruler determined to distinguish his reign through monumental achievements. His era was marked by a sense of renewal, of creativity. Unlike his predecessors, Djoser was willing to take risks. He had a dream, a grand dream, to construct a tomb that would not just house his body for the afterlife, but serve as an eternal testament to his rule, his power, and his divine connection to the gods. And thus began the journey toward the creation of what would be Egypt's first monumental stone structure, the Step Pyramid of Saqqara. Up until then, the royal tombs had been simple mud-brick mastabas, flat-roofed, rectangular structures. But Djoser envisioned something different, something that would defy the conventional architectural norms of the time. To turn his ambitious dream into reality, he needed a genius. And that genius was Imhotep. Imhotep, another name you might have heard, but maybe not in the right context. Often mythologized, even later deified, Imhotep was not just any man. He was the high priest of the sun god Ra, the vizier of Djoser, and a polymath whose expertise ranged from medicine to architecture. When Djoser commissioned Imhotep to design his royal tomb, the vizier didn't just meet expectations, he exceeded them beyond anyone's wildest imagination. Instead of building another mastaba, Imhotep decided to stack several mastabas of decreasing size one on top of the other, creating the first ever pyramid, the Step Pyramid. Imagine the awe of the people at that time, watching the structure rise from the ground. 6 layers of stone blocks ascending toward the heavens, a staircase for the soul of the king to reach the afterlife. But what drove Djoser to pursue such a radical departure from tradition? It wasn't merely an act of vanity or a desire for grandeur. Djoser was a deeply religious man, profoundly influenced by the belief systems of his time. In ancient Egypt, the king was not just a political leader. He was considered a living god, a divine intermediary between the people and the gods. By building the Step Pyramid, Djoser was not only ensuring his place in the afterlife, but also reinforcing his divine status on earth, a symbol of his God-given right to rule. The Step Pyramid wasn't just a marvel of engineering, it was also a statement of divine power. Each step represented a symbolic ascent, and the pyramid's unique design was meant to facilitate Djoser's journey to the afterlife, linking the earthly realm with the divine. Standing at around 200 feet tall, it was by far the largest building of its time, a gleaming beacon visible for miles around, reflecting the king's ambition and divine status. To fully grasp the significance of the Step Pyramid, we must consider the sheer complexity of its construction. The pyramid itself is estimated to contain over 11.6 million cubic feet of stone and clay. The stones used were quarried locally, but transporting and assembling them required a level of precision and coordination that had never been attempted before. Imhotep and his team had to develop new tools and methods to handle these massive blocks, shaping and fitting them together with remarkable accuracy. This required not just architectural genius, but also a well-organized workforce. Skilled laborers who worked tirelessly under the scorching sun to bring Djoser's vision to life. Yet, there is another layer to this story, one that highlights the innovative spirit of Djoser's reign. The construction of the step pyramid complex wasn't only about size and scale, it was about redefining the architectural language of an entire civilization. For instance, Imhotep's design incorporated elements that mimicked the organic materials of earlier buildings, like the wooden columns of pre-dynastic shrines, but translated them into stone. This symbolic use of stone was a masterstroke, turning a material associated with eternity into the foundation of Djoser's eternal house. Moreover, Djoser's step pyramid project also served as a blueprint for future pharaohs, setting a precedent that would be followed and expanded upon for centuries. The techniques pioneered here would evolve, leading to the construction of the more famous smooth-sided pyramids at Giza. But without Djoser's daring innovation, it is unlikely that those iconic structures would have been possible. The pyramid complex itself was surrounded by a massive limestone wall, over 30 feet high, which enclosed the sacred precinct. This wall had 14 gates, but only one was functional. The rest were dummy gates, symbolizing the illusionary barriers between the mortal world and the divine. Within the walls, there were several other structures, including the Hebsed court, which was used for the king's rejuvenation rituals. These rituals were believed to renew the pharaoh's strength and power, allowing him to continue ruling as the divine representative on earth. Djoser's ambitions extended beyond architecture. His reign marked a period of technological and cultural growth. His government sponsored expeditions to mine valuable materials, such as turquoise and copper in the Sinai Peninsula, reflecting an early understanding of resource management and economic expansion. Additionally, Djoser initiated several infrastructure projects aimed at improving agricultural efficiency, such as canal constructions and renovations to existing irrigation systems. These initiatives helped secure food supplies, reinforcing his role as a provider for his people. By embedding his legacy in stone, Djoser also set a spiritual example for future generations. His decision to build with limestone rather than mud brick sent a powerful message. The pharaoh's existence, like the stone itself, was meant to endure for eternity. This idea resonated deeply within the Egyptian consciousness, influencing their beliefs about the afterlife and the divine right of kingship. The step pyramid became a testament not only to Djoser's reign, but to the very notion of kingship in Egypt. Fast forward to today, and Djoser's step pyramid still stands, a testament to human ingenuity and ambition. While time has worn away some of its grandeur, the pyramid remains an iconic symbol of ancient Egypt's greatness. It reminds us that even in the distant past, there were those who dared to dream beyond the ordinary, who sought to leave a mark that would endure millennia. So, what can we take away from Djoser's story? Perhaps it is this: that vision, coupled with determination and the right people, can achieve the seemingly impossible. Djoser dared to think differently, to imagine something beyond the realm of the familiar. And in doing so, he not only secured his place in history, but also paved the way for future generations, inspiring them to reach for the stars, one step at a time. If you've enjoyed this exploration into the life and legacy of Djoser, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, Historical Highway, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on more fascinating stories from the ancient world. Your support helps us continue bringing history to life